Yo, what's up guys? It's Mike Chang with Six Pack Shortcuts. So I want to make this video for all the skinny guys out there that are trying to put on weight but are just having difficulty doing so. They're the natural ectomorphs, or basically ectomorphs are people with small body frames and usually pretty thin, or if you have like skinny genetics and it's just been a problem for you your entire life to try to put on weight. So right off the back, you probably heard this before. If you want to get bigger and you're skinny, the number one thing you need to do is eat. And I already know the challenges that you're running into, because the problem is you don't eat enough. And if you don't eat enough, you're never going to be able to have the building blocks or have the nutrition or the calories to go ahead and put on the size, which is why you're always going to stay skinny. So I'm going to show you a couple tips, number one, to go ahead and help you eat more and kind of build up your appetite, because that's going to be the very most important thing for you guys out there. And the next thing is going to be how to lift weights. So you want to keep it very simple. You don't want to make it very complicated. Remember, gaining weight, just like getting lean, should be a super simple thing. There's only a few different steps you need to follow, and don't worry about everything else, okay? Don't overthink it. So number one, how do we go ahead and eat more food? So naturally, if you're a skinny guy, I can probably bet that a lot of people, a lot of times you're probably thinking, I eat a lot of food and I'm always eating and I can't gain a single pound. Well, the problem is, no matter how much food you think you're eating, your body is burning all of it off. So at the end of the day, there's nothing extra. And there's nothing extra, you're not going to be able to gain weight because your body doesn't have any extra calories. So you got to eat more than what you're eating right now. And it doesn't matter if you're telling me, hey, Mike, dude, I'm eating so much. Well, man, it doesn't matter. If you're eating a lot, you have to eat more. And if you think you're eating tons, you can't eat any more, you still got to eat more. No matter how much food you're eating, if you want to gain weight, you got to eat more, okay? So tip number one, a lot of times people aren't going to tell you this, but when you're gaining weight, try to eat your favorite foods, because naturally you don't have an appetite, you're not eating very often. And when you're eating a lot, you're probably only eating maybe one meal, and giant one meal, and then everything else just kind of snack and here and there, okay? So you want to go ahead and make your appetite a lot higher by eating your favorite foods. And it's really fun because you don't have to worry about everybody else start eating, like trying to eat healthy foods and lean down and stuff like that, and they can't, hey, I can't eat rice or potatoes, or I can't put these sauces, or I can't have this because it's too much fat. Man, you can eat everything, okay? Now, if you go and talk to trainers, they're going to be like, oh, no, you shouldn't eat pizza, you shouldn't eat burgers, and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Yes, those aren't the best foods for you, but you got to keep in mind the number one thing that you need to do is get used to eating more and get used to having an appetite to eat more. Later on, as you put on more size, then you want to clean it up and you want to start, actually eating the healthy types of foods. Then you start cleaning it up and you start eating the lean proteins and the lean carbs and all this stuff. But for now, don't worry about any of that, okay? You want to stick with the simple basics, which is how to eat more. So eat your favorite foods. Eat lasagna, eat cheeseburgers, eat hamburgers if you like. And if your favorite foods are healthy, cool, then eat the healthy stuff too, okay? But eat everything. When I was gaining weight, I ate everything in front of me. If it was pizza, I try to eat a little less on the junk foods, but it still doesn't matter. I was never really like skinny. I was the total opposite. I had a big old belly and I was trying to get rid of it. Okay, so if you're skinny, eat pizza if you like. Okay, just eat all your favorite foods so this way you can get used to enjoying eating. Okay, and you can always catch yourself eating more and more if you like the foods you eat. The problem with most skinny guys is you don't like to eat, so you got to get used to eating more often. Okay. So that's tip number one. Very important. Eat all your favorite foods. Okay? Don't worry about the healthy stuff. Just eat your favorite stuff. Worry about the healthy stuff after you start putting on some size and start seeing some results. Okay, so tip number two is eat dessert. So you're eating your meal. Once you're done with it, if you have a little bit of room, eat some dessert. Okay? The best time to actually eat dessert would be a post-workout meal, which means after you work out, if you're eating, you eat your meal. Afterwards, throw in some dessert if you like, okay? Throw in some cake, okay? Throw in some ice cream, throw in some cookies, throw in some croissants or some donuts or anything like that, okay? Because you got to get your mindset right when you're trying to gain weight. The more calories I eat, the bigger I get. Simply put. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if I eat too much calories, I'll get fat. Well, if that does happen, then you start cutting down the desserts, okay? And then you start balancing out the type of foods you eat. You may not be able to eat all the favorite foods anymore, but until you run into that problem to where you're gaining too much weight, and you want to go and shut it down, eat everything in front of you. Okay, because most times when I run to skinny guys or when I get comments, most skinny guys don't tell me, hey, I was skinny and then I gained like 30 pounds and now, how do I cut it down? Majority of the people don't ask me that question, and the reason why is because they never got to the point where they gained a lot of weight. They're still back in the start. They're right in the starting line and they're trying to gain weight and they just can't. So that's why I'm telling you to, number one, eat your favorite foods, and number two, try to eat dessert, okay? That's just another way to bump up those calories. Okay, so tip number 3 also has to do with food, okay? And this is actually something I suggest to the guys that work with us and also for all the skinny guys out there. Set an alarm, either on your phone or you can set an alarm on your computer, okay, to basically go off every 2 hours. And I want you to get in the habit of eating every 2 hours. Every time the alarm goes off, eat something. Okay, no matter if it's a full meal, no matter if it's a half a meal, no matter if it's like snacks. It could be bananas or fruits, granola bars, protein shakes, protein bars, you name it, okay? You name it, I want you to get in the habit of eating, okay? Alarm goes off, bam, even if you're not hungry, okay? And I understand in the beginning you're gonna be like, crap, I'm still kind of full from, that last meal. Doesn't matter. Grab something and just eat it. No matter if it's just like a little bar, if it's like 100 calories, a lot of these little bars, you can finish it with maybe 3 or 4 bites, no big deal. Even if that's the case and that's all you can put down, no problem. I'm not asking you to really like stuff yourself to where, you just can't walk, you just feel like, food's about to come out of your throat, okay? You're not doing that, but I want you to get in the habit of putting something in your mouth every 2 hours and eating, okay? Because imagine, when you look at big guys, you don't see them, sitting around not eating. You always see them munching on something. When they go out, you see them eating a big meal, and they don't just finish like half the plate. They clean the whole plate out. And that's why. Why? Because their body needs those calories, and that's also one way that they're able to maintain the weight. And if you ever see me eat, same thing. I'm trying to clean up everything. So make sure that you set your alarm every 2 hours, eat something, okay? If you're hungry, eat a full meal. If you're not as hungry, eat a small snack. But just get used to that habit of eating. And later on, once you get used to that habit of eating, you won't feel like you're force feeding. Because a lot of times, I know the one thing you're going to feel is you're going to feel like you're kind of force feeding, you're not hungry, what should I do? Just eat something anyways, okay? Even if it's, a handful of nuts or a handful of M&Ms, or candy. You know what I mean? Now, obviously there's good foods and bad foods, and don't worry about that for now. Because again, when you run into that problem of gaining too much weight, I'll make another video for you and let you know, hey guys, this is what you do now to go ahead and cut down that fat, okay? Until then, just eat something and get used to those habits. Now, tip number 4 is workout, okay? If you eat and you follow those 3 tips on eating and you don't do the workouts, I guarantee you will get fat, okay? All you're gonna do is have a big belly and you start seeing, fat gaining everywhere. But if you work out, all those extra calories, majority of it is going to turn to muscle. You will carry on some extra fat. No big deal when you're trying to bulk up, okay? Worry about shedding that fat a little later, okay? You're not going to be able to get six-pack abs and gain weight at the same time. It's pretty much impossible, okay? So don't worry about that. Worry about putting on the size first. So tip number 4 is working out. You want to work out about 4 days a week, okay? Don't try to work out 7 days a week. And the reason why is because if you're skinny, then your body naturally burns off a lot of calories, and it's really hard to hold those extra calories in. So if you're doing the workouts, you're basically burning extra calories, which means you have to eat more. So I don't want you to burn too much calories if you work out 7 days a week. So it's more important when you're gaining size to make sure you get your nutrition in, make sure you get your rest, okay? Make sure to sleep 8 hours. And when it comes to working out, you only want to work out about 4 days a week, okay? And you want to do that for about a month or 2 months. So this way you have 3 days to recover. And also during those 3 days, just because you're not working out doesn't mean you're not eating. You're still following the same rules and just putting everything down. And when it comes to your workouts, very important, number 1, you got to do compound movements, okay? Compound movements are pretty much anything that's multi-joint. So I'm going to name some examples. Bench press is a compound movement. Standing military press, basically like a compound movement, but squats, deadlifts, all compound movements. You want to go ahead and pretty much use as much free weights as you can, so this way you can use your stabilizer muscles, lift heavy, good form, and stay consistent on it 4 days a week, okay? If you want to go ahead and build a thick chest, you can't go with light weights like just doing a whole bunch of push-ups, okay? You got to bench press, okay? You got to grab heavy dumbbells and go with good form and do chest presses. The only way you can allow your muscles to get bigger is to force them to get bigger. And the only way you can force them to get bigger, is to use a weight that's heavy enough so they have to get bigger. Okay, I want you to think about it this way. Your muscles will only be as strong as they need to be. So if you're grabbing, let's say, a 20-pound dumbbell and you're doing like chest presses because you want your chest to get bigger, well, your chest will get just big enough to handle that 20 pounds of dumbbells. So now, if you want it to get bigger than that, you have to grab, let's say, 30-pound dumbbells. And of course, in the beginning, it's going to be kind of tough because your chest is not used to pressing that weight. But because you're still trying to do it, your body is going to force your chest. You're basically forcing your chest to be able to handle 30-pound dumbbells. So what does it do? They have to go ahead and get bigger in order to handle that weight. And eventually, you keep moving up and keep moving up and keep moving up until your muscles get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? So don't forget those 4 tips. Number 1, eat your favorite foods. Okay? It doesn't matter what it is. Just put it down. Get used to liking to eat and building up your appetite. Number 2, eat desserts. Okay? Desserts are really good for post-workout meals right after your workout. Okay? Eat your meal and then eat a dessert. And if you like, you can eat desserts any other time too. And desserts, whatever you like. Okay? Number 3, set your alarm every 2 hours, eat something. It can be a full meal or it can be a snack. Just eat and get used to constantly eating. And number 4, make sure to work out or you'll get fat. Okay? Compound movements, 4 days a week. Okay? And your workout should last anywhere from about 30 minutes to about 45 minutes. Make sure to lift heavy, make sure to use free weights, and make sure you have good form. Okay? Leave your comments below. Let me know if this video's helped, and let me know what else type of tips I can give y'all guys, all you skinny guys out there, to help you guys really put on the size, get ready for the summer, and get your swole on. So more workouts and nutrition tips on how to put on size and how to gain weight, check out sixpackshortcuts.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Later.